It was past midnight when Daniel closed the small workshop he barely managed to keep alive. The tools inside were old, the bills piled on the counter, and the shelves had more dust than customers. He walked out into the cold night air, adjusting his worn jacket as he thought of his little daughter, Lily, who was probably fast asleep in their tiny rented apartment. Life hadn't been kind to Daniel. His wife had passed away years ago, leaving him to raise Lily alone. He worked long hours fixing anything he could, bicycles, furniture, broken radios, but people rarely paid enough to cover rent, food, and school fees. Still, Daniel never complained. Every day, he told himself, as long as Lily smiles, I can endure anything. That night, as he walked home through the dimly lit streets, he noticed a figure sitting by the bus stop. A young woman, maybe in her 20s, sat shivering, hugging herself against the cold. Her clothes looked stylish, but they were smeared with dirt, her makeup was smudged, and her eyes were red from crying. Daniel hesitated. Normally, he would have just walked past, he had nothing extra to offer anyone. But something in the way she was trembling, lost and alone, pulled at his heart. "Miss, are you all right?" Daniel asked softly. The girl looked up, startled, then quickly wiped her tears. I'm fine," she muttered, though her voice cracked. Daniel frowned. He could see she wasn't fine. "The buses don't run this late. Do you have somewhere to go?" She shook her head slowly. "No, not tonight." Daniel thought about his daughter waiting at home, about the single bed they shared, about the half-empty pantry. Inviting a stranger into his home didn't make sense. Yet he couldn't just leave her here, in the freezing night. "Look," he said gently, "I don't have much, but if you need a place to rest, you can stay with me and my daughter. Just for the night, safe roof, warm tea. That's all I can offer." The girl hesitated, her eyes widening with surprise. No one had ever spoken to her with such sincerity. Finally, she nodded. "Thank you, really." When they reached Daniel's tiny apartment, Lily was awake, waiting by the window like she always did when her father worked late. The moment she saw him, her face lit up. But then she noticed the young woman beside him. "Daddy, who's this?" Lily asked, clutching her teddy bear. "This is our guest for tonight," Daniel replied softly. She just needed a little help. Lily's innocence made her smile. "You can sleep in my bed," she offered without hesitation. The woman's eyes welled with tears. She hadn't felt kindness like this in years. She had grown up in a mansion, but surrounded by walls of coldness, expectations, and money. Tonight, in a stranger's modest home, she felt something she had never experienced, genuine warmth. That night, she couldn't sleep. She watched Daniel carefully place a blanket over his daughter, whispering a soft prayer that she would always be safe. She saw the way his hands were calloused from hard work, the way his eyes carried exhaustion but also love. She lay awake wondering, why would a man with so little give so much to someone he didn't even know? The next morning, she thanked him quietly. "You didn't even ask me who I was, or why I was out there." Daniel smiled faintly. Sometimes it's not about knowing the story. Sometimes, people just need kindness, no questions asked. The girl left soon after, without explaining much. Daniel didn't expect to see her again. He went back to his life, working long hours, struggling to pay bills, doing everything for Lily. Days turned into weeks, and the night with the strange guest became just another memory. Until one morning, Daniel woke up to the sound of a car engine outside his apartment. A sleek, black car, the kind he only saw in magazines, was parked there. A well-dressed man stepped out, followed by the very same young woman he had sheltered that night. Daniel's heart skipped. "You," he whispered. The man extended his hand. "Mr. Daniel, my name is Richard. I'm her father." The young woman stepped forward, her voice steady this time. "That night, I ran away from home. I felt suffocated by everything, the pressure, the loneliness, the money that never filled the emptiness inside me. I wanted to see the world outside, and that's when you found me. You didn't know me, yet you gave me kindness when I had nothing. No one has ever done that for me before." Daniel looked at her, stunned, as she continued. "You gave me shelter when you barely had enough for yourself. You reminded me what love looks like. I told my father everything. And now, we want to help you." Before Daniel could react, the man handed him an envelope. Inside was a letter stating that his debts would be cleared, his workshop repaired, and Lily's education fully sponsored. Daniel's hands trembled. I can't accept this. I was just doing what anyone should do." The young woman shook her head. Not anyone would, but you did, and sometimes, the smallest act of kindness deserves the biggest reward. Lily ran forward, hugging her father tightly. Daniel's eyes filled with tears as he whispered, thank you so much. From that day, Daniel's life changed. His workshop flourished, Lily went to the best schools, and he no longer lived in the shadow of unpaid bills. But more than the financial blessings, Daniel realized something deeper. His kindness had touched a heart that even wealth couldn't reach. And that young woman, once lost and broken, found in Daniel and Lily the family warmth she had longed for all her life. She visited often, bringing laughter, gifts, and sometimes just herself, to share a cup of tea in the small apartment that had once welcomed her with open arms. Because in the end, money could build mansions, but only kindness could build a home. And as Daniel tucked Lily into bed one night, he whispered, see, sweetheart. When you choose kindness, miracles happen. If this story touched you, don't forget to subscribe for more heartwarming tales of kindness. Sometimes, one simple act can change a life.